So, what you gonna do if I fire this up?
I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to get involved.
Well, now you are.
And then the Lord said in Leviticus 17:11, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and it's the blood that makes atonement for the soul. We all need to do some atonement, Jamil.
Man, the only thing I'm worried about, Tony, is what happens if I don't get the trick.
We always arrive at the place that we are meant to be.
Man, what the hell that supposed to be? You always talking in riddles.
Look, the good Lord hand always pushes us to where he wants us, to exactly where and when he wants us to be.
I don't know about that, but you better be right.
Well, it ain't about me being right. It's about the word.
Well, the word better be right. You get me to Trenton to that meeting, and I gotta be on time.
Have faith, and it will happen.
All right, you say so.
It is he that says so.
All right, then let him get me off this goddamn train because it's starting to get hot in this motherfucker.
When the Lord enters your heart, he makes a home. You should do the same for him. You'll see.
That's really beautiful.
Thanks, Willow.
I like it when you tell us stuff because it always makes me feel better.
Well, the Lord's word will always make things better. Now, again, from Matthew 21:32. And Jesus said unto them, verily, verily, the stone that the builders rejected has become the capstone. The Lord has done this, and it's marvelous in our eyes.
You learned all that, bro, man.
2142.
What's that?
It's Matthew 2142. You said 2132.
Hey, the man knows what he's quoting.
What? You know the Bible, son?
A little, I guess.
Well, if you know the Bible, then you know you're wrong.
It's 21:32. I'm sure.
I'm sorry, my mistake. I shouldn't have said anything.
Well, no.
Oh.
Now, since you brought up, look, I want to be sure.
What difference does it make? 32 or 42? It's the words that count, not the numbers.
No, it makes a big difference.
Man, I don't know why you butting in, man. Why you want to talk now?
He's right.
What?
He's right. Matthew 21:42. And Jesus said unto them, have you not read in the scriptures the stone that the builders rejected? What, you some kind of preacher, son?
So you as audience are probably wondering, is this play coming up anywhere else? Because if you didn't get to see it, you're going to want to see it. What's the future of Express Tracks?
We're hoping to move it. We really have hopes for a production in New York. We're hoping for an off-Broadway production.
Yeah.
I think this play really, from the critical response, from the audience response, I really think that it could have a life, and that's kind of what we're hoping. My agent and I now are kind of really pushing it. So that's my hope, because this play I think really does need a life, and I hope it has an opportunity to move.
It's very powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, really powerful. And as you continue work with South Camden Theatre, you're in your 9th season now. You do a lot of your plays, which is fantastic, because your plays are so great.
Thanks.
But you do other stuff too. You seem to have a connection with Williams. I know you actually wrote
It's called
a play.
Obsession.
Yeah, an obsession with
More-
Williams,
yeah.
because you've produced several plays of his, and you've even written a play about his last night, his final curtain.
Yeah.
And you produce plays that are classics, but are not produced as often as they probably should be.
Right.
Is that part of the mission statement of
Yeah.
South Camden Theatre Company?
The part of me getting people to come to Camden is for you to see something you can't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
You'll see it, but some of the shows I've done, I have found out in researching how long it had been since they had been here, had been very, very long.
You're going to have a different audience anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
even if they have.
When I did, in fact, when we did Awake and Sing, which it was very difficult to get the rights because you have to get them from Odets' son, it turned out,
Oh.
at the time. I believe that's still the case.
Yeah.
But I had done some research, and that play had not been done in Philadelphia since 1949.
Wow.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah, why?
Awake and Sing is like an American classic.
Yeah.
But it hadn't been. Suddenly Last Summer was one that I did after. I go every September to the Tennessee Williams Festival in Provincetown, Massachusetts, which, if you can get there, it is the best 4 days of theater. You walk into hotel rooms and watch plays. You walk into regular theaters. You sit on a pier over the bay or over the harbor, and you see a lot of rarely seen Tennessee Williams plays. So some of my influence in the last few years has come from things that my friend David Kaplan, who's the director of the festival and the curator, has shown me some things. Like I saw they did for a final show when they will bring in a star, and I think it was Dana Ivey they had, and someone else doing Suddenly Last Summer, and it was horrible. It was like, we watched this, and it was like they played it for comedy and the yucks, and I'm like, and I walked out, and we're walking. I never forget. It was the last night in Provincetown. We were leaving the next day to come back, and we're coming down this big hill from Provincetown High School, and I said, I'm doing that next season. Because the next year, it was Tennessee Williams' 100th birthday. And I said, I'm doing a full season of Tennessee Williams.
Yeah.
So it'll be 3 Williams plays plus my play about Tennessee's Final Curtain.
Right.
And we did it. And I found a director, Connie Norwood, who's from Philly, who's fantastic. Connie does a lot of work with us. And Connie just found it. I mean, just found it. Lee Kaznonis was playing the mother, and something happened with that play. Something just happened. And then I watched an audience come see this play, and I only knew this was a movie. I've never even seen this, because it's part of 2-1X called The Garden District.
Okay.
And the play is shocking. And an actress named Emily Letts, who is fantastic, played Catherine. And I thought every night she was going to go through the floor. And at the end of the play, people would wait for Emily, and I mean, people just wanted to hug her and console her, and just because she was just melting into the ground. But so I try to find plays like that, like when I did Waiting for Lefty.
Odets.
Odets. No one had done that in so long, other than colleges.
Yeah.
Because it's a very large cast and it's a 55-minute play, but I can do what I want. So it's like, I'm going to do it, and it was so successful. And we opened it with I had no cell phone curtain speech, which worked out most of the time. we opened with, since we're a theater, the lights went down and we had a newsreel from the 1930s of an actual Camden shipyard strike and a couple of other strikes. And as these newsreels were playing from the 30s, I had the actors all entering, singing the fight song, the Union fight song.
Okay.
From the street, from the aisle, from the green room. And the play was fantastic. And at the end, when this famous strike is happening, we went back to a newsreel, but now that newsreel was Camden Today, Detroit Today.
And that connects back to
but then the greatest thing
too.
tying into my little why I went to Trenton, and a big picture of Chris Christie. And the audience every night started howling because it's when he was destroying the unions.
It's so great that you take all these chances with theater. I think that's really important.
I think that's what theater is.
Yeah, it is. And even just having the theater where you have it was a big chance. And you're continuing to take chances with everything that you do there. You produce so many plays every year, which is very difficult to do for a small theater. And you're just doing great work there. And I really, really appreciate that you're here and that you've come on the show to talk with us about your work and about South Camden Theatre.
Thank you.
And I hope that our audience will get out there and go to see your next play and the next season.
And you've been there.
Onward.
It's not a scary place.
It is not a scary place.
You can park on the street.
Yeah.
You can park in a parking lot. We have cameras everywhere.
People need to open their minds.
And there are people on the street all the time. This neighborhood is totally redeveloped.
Absolutely.
Now, will you go through a couple of rough patches on the way if you're driving down Broadway?
That's anywhere.
Yes, you will.
That's anywhere.
But once you get, the word oasis has been used to me more than a few dozen times when they get to our neighborhood. And then you see a play and go, wow, I'm coming back. And that's how we've been growing our audience.
Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Sure.
And to find out more about Joe and his latest projects, you can go to www.josephmpprzycki.com. Paprzycki.com. You'll see it on the bottom of your screen for the correct spelling. And you can also go online to SCTC's website at www.southcamdentheatre.org. And thank you so much, audience. We look forward to seeing more of your work, Joe, and SCTC and beyond. And I'm your host, Kirsten Quinn. Please join us next time as we venture into the exciting Philadelphia art scene on the Philadelphia Cultural Forum on CCPTV, Community College of Philadelphia's educational channel. Good night.